We've been doing this interview type of videos for the last couple of weeks to get to know all the real talkers. And today we are going to get to know Daneil a little bit more, get to know about her background, her upbringing, and how her relationship with Jesus has evolved throughout her life, right? So to start off, Daneil, how old are you?
I am 19 years old.
And you were born, um, basically you were born a Christian, right? So,
Yes, pretty much born in the church.
so you've been going to church throughout your whole life, right?
Yes, my parents actually started church in our house, in our living room.
Well, that's different. How did that affect you or impact you in any way? Not everybody gets to grow up in a home where your parents are um making a church in your home, receiving people and talking about Jesus constantly, right? And reading the Bible. So did that have an impact of you in anyone? And if so, then what was that?
Oh, okay, so honestly, that's all I've really known. So for me, it was just always something normal, something like, okay, yeah, like that's so cool. I remember when we started moving, like from building to building that we would rent, and like we would like obviously see the place before we started renting it. And for me, it was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, yeah, I'm just seeing a building. Like, I don't know. It was just everything was so normal to me. Like, this is just my life. I didn't know anything different from it.
So you were always used to receiving people in your home and reading the Bible. It was just
Yeah.
the norm. How did you get to know Jesus? Because even though you grew up with this and you've always kind of heard or known, I wonder if there was a moment and if you can recall that exact moment where you kind of had that one-on-one experience, or where you were like, okay, I need to know you, like by me, myself, not my what my parents have told me or what I've seen, but I want my own experience. Did you ever get that experience?
Yeah, for sure. I think that I've had many different experiences where like I've grown, like I've changed, like I've came to church and I left a different person. So, I know that the first time was when I chose to get baptized. I like actually I really wanted to. Like back then it was like, oh, when you enter a certain age, like that's when you can take the classes. So for me that was like I really want to take the classes because I really want to get baptized. So for me like that was definitely something really crazy. Like I felt so much more like grown, like I really understood what I was doing. And that's
How old
when,
were you?
I think I was like 13.
Okay.
And that's when I started like serving in different ministries. So it just became like so much more real. Like I had a responsibility here. Like it wasn't just like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm here, my parents, pastors, whatever.
So it became a responsibility in what sense?
Well, okay, so I started being assistant like with the kids, like the kid ministry. So like there's a type of preparation that you need. They want you to share, and you just can't like read the Bible that Sunday and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about this. So it became more like I have to take time to prepare myself, and it also like pushed me to be like closer in a relationship with God.
Gotcha. And quick question, throughout your life, since you've grown so close to the church, have you ever felt like maybe like away from God, or have you ever felt like far or drifting?
Okay, well, I guess there's been moments where it's like you feel like God isn't really like talking to you. Like, obviously, as a kid, it's like your relationship with God is a little bit different than when you grow older and you come into more understanding. So, like, looking back on it, I feel like there's moments where I was like normal. Like, I was like, oh, yeah, I'll go to church, whatever. As opposed to now where it's like, okay, like, I really understand that I'm coming here for a reason. Like, I have a purpose, and all those things. But I would never say that, like, I was at church, but my body was at church, but my mind wasn't. Like, there wasn't ever a moment that I was, like, in that type of thought.
And in terms of purpose, when did you realize what your purpose was? Like, do you remember, like,
Okay.
how that was and how old you were when that happened?
Well, ever since I was little, my mom has always, like, she's like, before I was even born, like, my mom had visions and, like, when she presented me and all those things. But so she's always been like reminding me, like, I've seen you do this, like, you've received word from when you were little that you would do this and all these things. So I guess that I always had like bits and pieces of like the puzzle of my purpose, I guess. But I think like the biggest like realization was like about 2 years ago, when there was actually like some ministers that came, and like from that day, like, I literally felt like a fire inside of me. Like, it's just like a complete different like change. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
That's really sweet. And you said that was 2 years, so you were 17 at the time. Wow. So the puzzle just kind of clicked all together, and you had like an aha moment where this is who I am and this is what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So, question: growing up, now you're off high school, right? You graduated. Yes. And everything. How was your school journey? Being a Christian, being born basically in church, and knowing that you carried something different. Like, how were you in school? Because we all have the school experiences that we all share, where we were either bullied or maybe someone tried to bully us. How was that for you?
Okay, so I'm short, so everyone always bullies me because of my height. Like, but I've never felt bullied. Like, I've always been like, okay, like, no one's ever bullied me because I go to church. Like, all of my friends knew. Like, I would literally tell them, oh yeah, like, I was at church. Like, it was just something normal to me. Like, I was never like ashamed of saying like, oh yeah, I go to church on Sundays.
Was it normal to them? Or did some of them react like, you go to church, you're a Christian? Or
I don't think anyone's ever like pushed me away or like done any like type of she's Christian, I'm not gonna like talk to her or anything. Mm-hmm. So everyone's always been like very like normal, because like I don't act like I'm superior, like, oh, I'm too holy to hang out with you. Like, I just talk to you like a normal person. Like, even at work right now, people are like, oh, but you go to church, and I'm like, this is the same way that I am at church. Like, I'm not gonna talk to you any differently because I go to church. So I feel like I've never been like pushed away or anything because of what I believe. I've always been pretty normal about it, because again, this is all I know. Like, I've never felt a type of way.
And did you use to kind of talk to kids about Jesus? Did you go to a public school or a Christian school? You went to a public school. So were you the one that would actually like talk to other kids about Jesus, or did you invite them to church? Or
I mean, like, when I was younger, I had like some neighbors that like they were like in my class too, so they would always like do like little stuff with me. Like, we would invite them to church, but I wasn't like super like, oh my god, come to church with me this Sunday. Like, I didn't really invite them like that or like talk to them. Like, at least I don't remember talking to anyone.
Nice. So, have your relationship with your parents always been great?
Yeah. Because my parents are pastors. Maybe other people can relate to this, but they're very compromised. Like, a lot of their time is spent dealing with church people, dealing with church phone calls. So that was always a little hard. I was always in meetings here, playing in the little back, you know. So that was, I guess, something difficult. But like now, we serve kind of more as a family, so it's not like, it's definitely changed. Like I don't feel like we're in a church meeting again. Oh my God, we're gonna be so bored. But it's more of like, you know, like I get it. Like
Now
I
you
completely
are like,
understand.
now you work as a unit, no, like, as a
Yeah.
team. So I think I get what you're saying. So there were times where you feel like maybe they were always a little busy, and maybe you had to maybe kind of sacrifice some of the things that maybe you wanted to do being a kid, other than being at church,
Yeah,
because your parents are pastors.
definitely.
And how do you see it now?
I love being here. Like I love being at church, but I love like me and my mom. We like to talk about events. Like, oh my God, I would love to do this. Oh my God, there's this event. Like, and like it's more like I do want to go. Like I'll ask for days off work. Like I'm asking for days off school. Like I'm moving things around because I have a passion for being here. So like I feel that as a family, it's changed a lot. Now we have like little home church meetings like during the week. So in my house, there's a meeting. So there's people always coming to our house, and I feel like we work more as a team. Like it's so much different because you know it's like our family's receiving people that we're listening to their stories, and that impacts me. Like that impacts my life. I see how passionate my parents are. So.
That's so nice. I got a couple more questions. Last, what's your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby. I've never been like a hobby type of person. Like I don't play any sports. I don't know. Like right now, my hobby is like working. I love to go to work. I know that's so weird, but I love
It
working.
is. It is kind of weird.
I have friends there, so like that's the only thing that I really like to do, I guess.
And then for my last question, where do you see yourself in the future, and how do you see your parenting style, considering how you've been raised?
Okay. So in the future, I really want to be a doctor. Not only because it's like something that like passionate, like makes me passionate, but it also goes hand in hand with word that God has given over my life. So I know that it's like a confirmation. So that's where I see myself, and I see it being connected to His purpose, like not just being a doctor to like, oh my God, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And my parenting style, my parents have always taught me to like enjoy life, like to really embrace it, always make memories, like enjoy every moment. So I feel like I would really stress that. Like I would always stress my future generations to be close to Jesus because I know and I've seen how like life changing that is, and like I've seen people that have come in like absolutely broken and how God like completely mends them. So for me that's been super great, and I would always like teach my kids about that.
I just remember one more question.
Okay.
What's the best advice you have ever received and that you would give forward to somebody?
Okay. I guess I would say like not taking anything for granted, being grateful always, like no matter if you understand something or not, like everything has a purpose. So at the end of the day, it's just important to go through it, take it 1 minute at a time, you know. Very stressful things are gonna come, but you just kind of have to push through with God.
Yes, that's good. That's really good.